This hangout is on Airs Live. So, hello everyone. So for those who don't know, my name is PETRO DIAMANT. I'm an awareness artist for endangered species, and I'm speaking to somebody that I actually went to school with many, many years ago. Well, not so many, but many, many years ago, Angela Prusa. So, did I say your surname correct?
Yes, you
Yes,
did.
yay, because I tend to get that wrong. Okay, I mean, I'm allowed to get things wrong. And we're speaking about climate change. We're speaking about school strikes today. We're speaking about Namibia and what's happening in Namibia. I'm also going to touch on the logging in Namibia, and I'm going to touch on the mining in Namibia, and as well as the fisheries in Namibia, because this all contributes towards climate change, right? What the
Exactly.
F is happening to our environment? So, Angela, take a minute to introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay. Hi there. My name is Angela. Also, I think many people know me as Pikey Wrongstockings because that's my Facebook profile, and I do a lot of projects under that name. And yeah, so basically, I spend a lot of my time doing humanitarian projects. I do a lot of activism for environment, for various groups of people, normally like the underdogs, like refugees and people in poorer communities. So I try to give them a voice and do projects that empower them. And often I try to link those projects with environmental, so that we're also trying to get people to really start to engage and educate themselves about their environment and their natural surroundings, and
Yes.
try and also protect that at the same time as trying to empower people. So
Yes.
yeah, that's kind of like my background. And
Yes.
so I'm currently also in Namibia, and I'm doing a lot of projects regarding those morals and
Yeah.
values.
Yeah. Well, I think you're amazing because I've gone into your social media and I was like, "Oh, what am I going to ask her?" And like I need to like you get the background, but you had me at I stand for the voiceless. I fight for our planet and the future of our children. And then you have with children, you mean trees, animals, and human, which is
Yes.
amazing. And I want to include the mineral kingdom. I want to include the water. I want to
Yes,
include the soil. I want to include the beings. I want to include the air that we breathe. Okay, I want to
exactly.
include all of that because all of that needs to be taken care of. And I think, I don't have children, but my sisters have children. Okay. And this interview is specifically for the mothers in Namibia, the fathers in Namibia, the school teachers in Namibia, everybody who wants to have a child, has gotten a child, more than one child. Okay. And even if you don't have a child, but specifically, we want to touch on the school strikes. So let's talk
Yeah.
about the fact that children all over the globe are standing up, and it started with a little girl, Greta Thunberg. I said
Yay.
that right. Hey, she's amazing. She's like my
She
hero
is
at the moment. Yeah,
amazing.
like I wish I
Yeah.
had a poster that I could put on my door. Like every morning I wake up, I'm like, "You're my hero." But she really is amazing, and she's 16 now. But she started this a few years ago, and she started taking a poster. She said, "Okay, well, I'm not going to go to school. I'm going to go and sit on the street with my poster, and I'm going to be this activist, and I'm going to challenge the government, and it's going to be a school strike for climate change." So let's
Yeah.
touch on that. Let's touch what is happening to the climate, Angela.
Oh
In,
my God.
yeah.
I mean, it's actually really scary what's happening to the climate. And what is even scarier is the fact that, like, also this teenager saying that no one is talking about this, no one is panicking, no one is going into action mode. Um, and to me, this is really scary, especially because Namibia is going to be one of the countries that is most vulnerable to climate change. We are going to be most affected by climate change.
Yes.
And the fact that this has not once been mentioned in any public spaces, our leaders are not talking about this, the different boards and the ministries are not talking about this. It's really scary because we can see what's happening. We can feel the effects. And
Yeah.
especially like people often think, oh, but that's over there, it's global, or people are striking in England, like we are directly affected by this here in Namibia,
Yes. I mean, and yes, and sorry to interrupt you, but let me
No,
just,
go for
for
it.
anybody who's this whole, oh, that continent, hello, we have one planet, one water resource, one air resource.
Exactly.
Everything is one. Okay, we
Everything
only
is
have this
one.
planet, okay? Unless you can afford to go and live on another planet, then kudos to you, you know, yay, take me with. But this is the one planet. And I feel that Africa, throughout the ages, throughout, Africa has made other countries rich, and other countries come to
Yeah,
Africa and they profit from our resources, and they destroy our land, and they
very much
kill,
so.
the biodiversity in Africa at the cost of profit. And we're going to touch a little bit on the logging, because here's the
Oh
thing: you
yeah,
go to Namibia and it's so freaking dry.
I know.
Okay, my
Oh my
skin, like
gosh,
I age literally 10 years when I'm there. Okay, like I cannot get enough on my skin or into my body just to
enough
not look like,
moisture.
all scratchy. So Namibia is already dry. I mean, people call it the dry land, not just,
Yeah,
people that visit. It's this amazing country, right? It's this amazing, beautiful piece of jewel country. And yet, people live in a bubble.
they
We live in a
do.
bubble,
They
okay?
live in a
And
bubble. Yeah.
we live in this bubble, and we think that the governments are going to take care of us. What? No, the government is an organization, and an organization is run for profit, and any organization, okay? So
Yeah.
when investors come and they want to, give you money to run your organization, which is then now in this term the country, then the government will sell out.
It's
So let's,
exactly. It sells
yes.
our resources.
Yeah, so let's talk about, just to give Namibians who don't know, and there are still some people that won't know. 400,000 hectares have been logged in Namibia. Namibia is not the only African country where China has come in and started logging on rosewood. There are
Yeah.
multiple African countries that have been logged to a point where there's nothing left.
Yeah.
While China builds their future cities and their global, they saw their biodiversity. They are planting trees in China. They are
Exactly.
greening their country.
Replenishing their fish stocks,
Yes,
etc.,
and the cost of
etc.
Africa, and the wildlife and the poor communities, and we are losing out. So if you don't know how big 400,000 hectares is, it's from Cape Town, center city Cape Town, to
Yeah.
Rundu in Namibia, border Angola, 2 kilometers wide. That's 400,000 hectares of rosewood that has been cut down, logged, used, shipped out, and not even to mention the contraband that sneaks in under
That
that. And
goes
what
with
is
it.
contraband? Contraband is the illegal wildlife.
The
um,
rhino horn and the elephant tusk.
yes, so
Yeah.
rhino, pangolin scale, ivory, not to mention the other animals that suffer, but these are
Yeah.
just a few that we mention. And then not only the logging industry, which is mixed with legal and illegal. My hands are like legal and illegal. But we're also losing, and I just got the SMSs, we're also losing Mupani trees from farmers on private land, cutting these
Yeah.
trees whole. Okay. I think that's so wrong, because as an individual and as a farm owner and a land owner and a human being on this planet, you are allowed a limited time on this planet. And when you buy a piece of land, you become the custodian, the guardian, the keeper of that land. And that
Yeah.
land is connected to everything else, which is our water, our soil, our animals, sky,
Yeah.
whether it's the water animals, the land animals, the sky animals, birds, whatever it is, you are, and I wanted to use a word, but you are messing with the biodiversity, with key
With the
elements,
ecosystem.
with the
We are
ecosystem.
part of this
Yes.
ecosystem.
So
We have to function within each other.
my question to the parents in Namibia is, it's not that you don't have internet. It's not that your kids
Yeah.
don't read. It's not that the news hasn't gone out to almost every single country that there's a school strike. Why is it that only a few individuals are, and how many were you? Five?
It was me and my son and two of my
Amazing.
friends.
Oh, you're so amazing. Okay, but I will come there as well soon, and I'll stand in one of my art pieces, and then we'll see what happens. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll get nobody, maybe we'll get a lot, But really, moms, dads, families, people who are adopting children, people who want to, live a better life. if you decide to have a child, you really need to listen to this message. If you have a child, you really need to listen to this message, because what is Namibia going to look like in 10 years from now, and 20 years from now, and 30 years from now?
Yeah.
What is Africa going to look like in 10 years, 20 years, 30 years from now? As opposed to other countries that are using African resources to build their future cities.
Exactly. I mean, that's also one of the main issues, you know, like, for example, with indigenous tribes all across the world that I spend a lot of time in ceremony with, you know, one of their main morals, you know, for example, in Native American, in Native American morals is for the earth has to be kept in a state, you know, of symbiosis, so that the next 7 generations, you know, can live in harmony and have enough resources. You know, and this is what is happening here at the moment, is we are totally destroying our environment, you know, for the profit for tomorrow. And there will be, you know, it's detrimental. And I think people don't realize the extent of how detrimental it is. You know, for not just, and this is, you know, it's because we shouldn't be worrying about what we are having now. We should be making sure that whatever we're taking now, that there's enough left for future generations, our children and their children, because they will not have any, you know, any quality of life. If it continues like this. For example, already in 2011, the Ministry of Environment and Tourism had a national policy on climate change, you know, where scientists already then warned that Namibia is going to be one of the countries worst affected, you know, and in the north, the flooding will increase, the irregular rainfall in the south, you know, we are like one of the semi-desert countries south of the Sahara. And what we're seeing now is that reality is happening. We have mass droughts, our dams are really low. And what's happened now is we've chopped, you know, this 68,000 trees in the north, where there is like, you know, and all of this spirals everything out of control, because I think humans, and this is the problem, I think, why people are not showing up, you know, and not standing up, because we place ourselves above, you know, we think, oh, we have money so we can go to the supermarket, you know, so it's all good. You know, we don't see that we are a part of a living organism, you know, and our actions towards that living organism, you know, is going to in turn affect everything else. And so, you know, we are literally creating our own extinction. And I also feel, you know, regardless of like how people see this, it has been scientifically proven that trees communicate with each other. You know, they have family links. There's like, it's this whole world that we're not aware of, you know, and for us to just place ourselves above it and use it to our own discourse as we want to is just wrong on so many levels. And I think on a spiritual level, it has to be a new awakening. We have to realize that, you know, from the lobsters to the dolphins, to the trees, you know, to the rhinos, these are all sentient beings, you know, beings that have feelings, beings that have family ties just like us. We may not understand their language, or we may not understand how they work, you know, but they are on this earth just as we are, with as much right as we have, you know. I really, like, I want to hammer that into people's heads, you know, and it's time to wake up. It's time to stand together, you know. Otherwise, we're signing our children's death warrant, you know, and we each as parents are responsible for that. So if we are like so worried about what the community is going to think, like, you know, I have people walking past me when I protest, and they like, you know, try and look away or cross the road, and it's like, that's your children that are going to be affected, you know. And then you want solutions, and you want the president, you know, to create solutions for you. That's our responsibility as citizens. Each of us has that responsibility to stand up, to change, you know, use less plastic, use your car less, plant more trees. You know, there's solutions that we as individuals can all partake in to make this world a better place for our children.
Yes. And I think, you know, we from that generation is the generation prior, you know, that's where the BS started. And we were like, and now we're here and we're like, oh my God, you know, if we knew as children, and this is what I'm saying, you know, the schools really need to wake up, the teachers need to wake up, the principals need to wake up, and they need to actually come on board. You know, if we knew this as a child, I think you and I, we would have started our activist journey much sooner. Just the personality that we have, right? You know, it was like we want to, Earth Alive 365 is very much focused on celebrating species and celebrating life and celebrating hearts and celebrating the earth. And that is what Earth Alive 365 is about. That is, and when I say to somebody, I don't see myself as separate than the earth. I am the earth. And then I can start looking and taking care of my body. Okay, so what am I putting into my body? What am I putting onto my body? How am I treating this body? And then I extend that into my environment, my biosphere is the air that I'm breathing clean? Okay, because here's what's happening. China, they are developing. I've gone onto the channels. I've gone onto the news channels. I've sat through it. I've commented as a very angry, crazy person. My account has almost been hacked. but the leaders are effective. They have a plan on board, and they are fixing their environment in China. So cities that are, in such a state where they can't even breathe, like, they're walking around with these masks. They are fixing that by planting trees. But what's happening is they're taking
chopping down.
They have to get it from somewhere else. Okay, so Namibia, moms, dads, children. Okay, you have to wake up. You have to wake up and you have to become the guardians and the stewards of your land. So we cannot say that we are proudly Namibian or proudly South African or proudly African if we are not standing up to governments. And I made a post a while back where I said, oh, I hope I get this right now. I probably won't get the whole thing. But I said, if your government has not sworn an allegiance to the land, the people, and on all life on earth, then your government should not be governing.
Exactly. Because it's what keeps us alive,
Yes.
It's like, people need to understand, it's like when the soil is polluted, like you cannot eat your money and you cannot drink the oil or the petrol, or your coins. Like if, we should be, and this also goes for religion. We should be praying and showing the same amount of respect to the soil where all our food comes from, and to the air, the same amount of respect that we are showing these men, these gods that we pray for and respect, and the churches we walk into with so much respect. That amount of respect needs to be shown to the soil, because that's where your daily food that nourishes you and keeps you alive comes from.
Yeah. So I think your son is behind you. Let me see his face, if you wanted to, unless you didn't want to. Let me see his beautiful little face.
Can you turn around?
Oh, he doesn't want to. He doesn't have to. But I think he's so amazing because he's been on the streets. And, this little boy has the courage to join his mom and go and stand on the street. He's made his posters and he is an activist. And that child is going to grow up.
He is an activist,
Yeah, he's going to grow. What is he doing? Hi. So nice to meet you. I'm so proud of you. I want to say that I'm so proud of you and your mother.
Oh, thank
amazing.
you.
He's amazing. So when I get to Namibia, I would love to meet up with you, and I think we're going to maybe we can go and stand in Namibia. I'll see what we can do, but I definitely want to include you into the Earth Alive 365 initiative, Angela, because I think your heart is in the right place, and I already have everything set up, and I'm not a mom, so I need some activist moms and some key players and some real role models to come on board and shake things up a bit.
Yes, I would love to.
So that I was thinking about it this morning. Okay, so I thought, so here I am. I'm this animal, I call it the awareness artist, but really what it is, it's activism. Okay, and you are, again, the social activist, because I've seen on your Facebook, you've been in Europe, you've held the posters up where it's with the refugees, and it's so important to do these things. Why? Because people see it, it goes into the subconscious, they think about it, they maybe don't think about it, but it's there.
It's there,
But we need to get people on board. So I am going to back you. I don't know how. Let's converse on this. Let's see how I can, support you in this. Namibia is my home country. I love it to bits. It freaks me out when I have to go there, and be stuck in a little town. I really wish that, because I mean, when I go there, I really just want to be in nature. I want to be out and what freaks me out is, the habitat that we're losing. Okay. So not only, and I think you've mentioned as well, the climate change, for climate change, we need money. We need lawyers. We need people to wake up. We need to look at, what are we driving? Because the whole climate thing is now is, change the vehicle. Change the way that we're living. Don't drive so much, like you said. Don't drive so much with your cars. You know, the amount of
Walk the 5 minutes to the shop.
yes, you know. Let's be accountable for our actions. And I mean, my niece and my sister's children. I mean, I love them to bits, right? But
Yeah.
every time I see these children, I am like like, do you see my eyes, it's like a horror movie, right? It's like what is the future
I
gonna
know
look
that.
like? So
Yeah.
so if we can be all religious about things, then we can be all environmental about things. If we can
Yeah.
be very spiritual about, oh, but the planet's going to take care of itself, and evolution's going to take place. Yes, I'm very
Yeah.
spiritual, but here's the thing, though. I'm also very human at the moment.
Yeah.
I'm very, the spirit in this human body that's being affected by the environment. So I'm not there yet where I can generate my own oxygen and generate my own food
Exactly.
and generate my own light. I'm not there yet. I'm not that advanced yet. Okay.
None of us are. So
So
we need this environment.
yeah, so
Actually,
until then, we have to look at what we are doing, and we have to get to the streets with these children. So
we need to
the call.
inspire people to join. And also what
Yes.
I wanted to say, there's this amazing woman. So I spend half of my time in the UK, and there's an amazing woman called Polly Higgins, and she is a earth lawyer, and she has had this mission now, and basically it's called the Mission Life Force, and it's basically for the courts and the Supreme Courts to recognize earth as a living being, and so that ecocide is made illegal, and that we can take countries and presidents and corporations to court,
Yes.
and charge them with ecocide, because they are killing our animal family, they are killing our natural family, they're killing our seas, they're killing our waters, and these are all living beings. So
Yeah.
it's now being recognized, so people should check that out, and
Yeah.
maybe we should start utilizing that service,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
literally taking corporations and people and governments to court for
Yes.
killing, our natural environment.
Yes, yes. No, I feel that as well. And I want to get back to that, my post that I made about, governments that shouldn't be governing, is it really is the time for people to become self-governed
Yeah.
and become sovereign and not look up to or look towards somebody else to take action. You have to take action as a human being on this planet. You have to take action and not wait for somebody else. Nobody's here to govern anybody. Let's just
No,
face it. That's also
exactly.
like such a big illusion. Okay, nobody can tell you what to do, or how you should do it. It's your choice. If people all over the planet can go and reforest, okay, a couple reforested, I don't know how many acres of land, okay,
Yeah.
it takes such a long time for trees to grow. So I encourage, what do I want to do? I first of all want to encourage moms and the schools and the children to come on board and join you in all the towns, every town, and we get a Facebook up for you, and we get people to post their live videos and their posters and their whatever. It doesn't have to be
Yes.
fancy. Come on, the time of also like everything has to be perfect, and we need like a production house, whatever. Okay, you have a cell phone, take the video, share your
Exactly.
message, get it
Yeah.
out there. Okay, connect with Angela. So there's
Exactly.
2 email addresses that I'm going to share with people in this link.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Then she's on Facebook, she's on social media, she speaks to West Coast FM. I hope I can mention them, and because they're so
Yes.
nice, right? So she speaks to West Coast FM, and she's got her heart in the right place, and her son is definitely a warrior at the moment. And I don't like using the word warrior, but there's a fighting aspect to this whole climate change. And I want to shift maybe the word more to guardianship, okay? But with the guardianship, we also have to stand in our integrity and stand in our sovereignty and stand in our solidarity and challenge
Yes,
and bring
exactly.
our full capacity, our full potential forward. So I really want to challenge Namibians as a whole, the whole nation, to take China on, take your Namibian government on, and have these rosewood trees planted back. Okay,
Yes,
massive
yes,
project.
yes.
Okay, so those people that own the land that have now sold out to China by allowing logging and completely depleting the wildlife. I mean, where's the wildlife gone to, right?
That's
Then
the
we
other
talk
thing,
about
yeah.
then we talk about human wildlife conflict, but here's a newsflash. If you remove habitat, animals have nowhere to go to but to go to where the food is. So if you
Exactly.
as a human being are growing your food but taking away food from animals, they have to go and seek it somewhere else. So not only are you destroying their homes, but you're also destroying their food resources. So and I actually wanted to do a hashtag, and I did. I wanted to have like a little piece of paper up to date, but China, the government of China, I'm calling on you to stop the logging. I'm calling on you to start planting trees back into Namibia. And then also for lawyers to come on board and challenge the law in terms of what you can do on farmlands when it comes to chopping down trees. Um,
Yes,
play
because
a
it's all communal land essentially.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're supposed to be the guardian. So all these things have to be challenged. Angela, I know that I'm gonna. Do you want to say something else in terms? I mean, I know that I wanted to touch on the fisheries as well, what's happening in fisheries and the construction.
Yeah.
There's been a massive influx in cities expanding in Namibia where they're using the water in for construction. That's also been a problem in Namibia. We don't have water, but then we want to expand.
I know. I mean, I feel like, it all links in with each other, and I feel like if people actually do some research, to
Yeah,
kind of just, because the same with fishing, or phosphate mining or building or, like all these things are linked together, they all
yeah,
are detrimental to our environment,
yeah.
and I think, yeah, the only thing I want to say to people is to, use Google, instead of scrolling through Facebook or WhatsApp,
Yeah.
actually just type into Google,
Yeah.
Namibia and climate change, for example, and you'll find the whole policy that's written there, and
Mm.
like start reading up about these things, start talking to them in your community, and don't be scared to stand up,
No.
like we you
Yeah.
we have to stand up for something,
We
because if we're
have
just
to.
silent, then we're complicit,
Mm.
in this devastation that's happening.
Yeah. You have to pick your battles. You have to pick your battles, whether it's for water, whether it's for the soil, whether it's for animals, whether it's for humans, whether it's for what. You have to pick your battles. But in the end of the day, this climate strike is the biggest, I think, growing movement at the moment. And Namibia needs to be part of it because if you do not become a part of this global strike, your country will go even more backwards.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Namibia will be targeted. There will be nothing left. Okay. If we look at from the wartime where we've lost so many wildlife to the poaching and the illegal hunting now to
Yeah,
the logging, it's like the scales are just tipping, 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 tipping. And where are we gonna go? Where are we gonna go?
exactly. Where are we going to be in 5 years? That's what people have to,
Yeah.
try and imagine.
Yeah. So Angela, so I want you to in how many ever words you want to send a message out to the moms now. How would you like to invite them? How do they start this? I know that you and your son, you literally just took the cardboard and you made your posters and you took to the streets. But how
Yeah.
can they join you and how can you guide them and contribute some guidance and some
Yeah.
tips? Just you invite them.
Okay. So yeah, I would like to invite all mothers or fathers, and their children, to come and join us every Friday to protest climate change and to protest the destruction, of what's happening in Namibia. So we are going to be, because we are in Swakopmund, so every Friday we'll be standing in front of the courts, where the police station is, because it's a central point. We should be standing. If people are in Windhoek, you should be standing in front of Parliament,
Mm,
and speak to other parents, invite them to come along. Like if you need any info on what to put on your posters, you can contact me,
yeah,
or, if I can set up something, I'm more than happy to do that, but get in touch. And
yeah,
the more people we can get to club together, because there is people are always approaching me on the street and asking about it, and like it's also like this is how we educate people when we tell them about what's happening, and then they go like, oh wow, and then they go back to their communities and they have those conversations, and often they are asking, what is the solution, what can I do? So
yeah,
even just if you're standing there and you're having these conversations the whole day long, and advising people like, go use less water, write to your government, plant trees, plant vegetables, like all
yeah.
these things are really important. So
Okay.
yeah, to all the mothers, get in touch. You know,
Yeah.
I'm in Swakop, so if you want to join in Swakop, please do. My Facebook will be on here, and my email address is. If you're in Windhoek, you know, please, I can set it up and organize it. But
Yes.
be on Fridays, be in front of the Parliament, you know,
Yes.
or somewhere central where people can see you.
Yes, some of the people can see you, and let's get the newspapers to come on board as well. So the Namibian newspapers, you know, like they are the ones sharing the media. NBC, National Broadcasting Television, you know, and then all the independent radio stations as well. So,
Yeah,
and then here's the thing: you can have a poster in your car, and you can have
exactly.
a poster in your window shop. And you can have a little T-shirt printed, okay, you know, that you wear.
Yeah,
And it doesn't just stop at, I mean, print a sticker. I mean, stickers, it's going to cost you like R1.41, you know, per sticker, you know, not that we want to chop down some more trees and that, but we need to get the word out and spread it. And here's the thing about creating change. It's not just for that one day. We have to do this every single day. We have
every
to
day.
challenge the governments every single day. And where are the lawyers? I mean, we need to get
Oh,
into our school group and see who studied what and where they are now, you know, and what they're doing
exactly.
and what they're defending. And we need to get them on board, you know. Yes, I think we can instigate something like that. But yes, so I'm
We
gonna,
will do it.
yeah. And then Angela, are you opening up Rebellion Extinction Namibia? Are you going to be doing that?
I want to, but
Okay, so
I
what's
feel
the what do we need to do? What do they ask from people
um,
who want to do
it's it's quite a long list. It's quite a long list, and it's quite complicated. Sorry, I just have to quickly let someone in the house.
that? That's
Can you
fine.
quickly,
That's fine.
Belle, can
I'll
you
wait.
quickly open the door? Um, I think, to be quite honest, I don't think Namibia is ready for that yet. I
Yeah,
think once we inspire people to start standing up together and to see the support, then we can implement that. But I don't think, to be honest, that Namibia is ready for Extinction
yeah.
Rebellion.
Okay, so let's do this then. So let's use Earthlife 365 because it's the same values. Okay, it's the
Yes,
same, you know, even though I'm not fighting, I'm celebrating life. I'm not rebelling, but I'm celebrating. You know, I'm reminding
yes,
people that we share the planet with so many beings, not just that we're here and we're sharing it with our cell phone or our coffee mug or whatever.
yeah,
There's actually
exactly.
life around us.
Yeah,
So, let's do it then under Earth Life 365, and we invite parents to come on board and support you guys. And we
yeah, that
see,
would be amazing.
yeah, we can email each other and see how we can take this forward. I am going to do, and this is quite juicy. So that was the
Yeah,
invite for schools to come on board, right? The other is I am going to do another interview with Angela, and we're going to talk about cannabis. We're going to talk about the healing properties of this plant. We're going to debunk the entire theory and the whole, like, you know, getting stoned brew and whatever, you know, people have an issue with, or that it's from the devil, or, you know, like, ugh, you know, as jy dag gedroog, dan is dit nie vir my, maar we're gonna we're gonna debunk cannabis, and we're
yes,
gonna give you some
please.
really good information about why this plant is so important. And I've been to America. You know, I've listened to doctors talk about this. They've left their specialty field, you know, to follow, you know, this
Yeah,
plant and start healing illnesses with that. So, it's getting busy. Um, Parents, please join for the love of your
please.
children, for the
Yes,
love of wildlife, for the love of Namibia, for the love of this planet, you know, our water, our resources, just our air, you know, our air.
exactly.
Without that, we can't do anything. Without, you know, we can't breathe if there's no clean air. We can't survive without water. And if your soil is poor, that you can't grow your food, then how are you going to live? Okay, you're going to become chronic living. I mean, that's another phase, right? So there's chronic living. We can all live, become breatharians, but everybody is far away from that sort of concept. Um,
Yes.
and then hashtag, please use the hashtag China stop logging in Namibia. Use the hashtag Earthla365. Angela, do you have a hashtag that you want to use?
Not. I currently can't think of one, but I'll post it on the comments.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna email you and then we can speak privately. But for now, let's
Yeah.
share this video with schools. Let's actually email this video to schools
Yes.
and to anybody,
Exactly.
directly to
Let's
the
do
government
it.
as
Yeah.
well. Let's
Yeah.
email them.
Let's circulate it.
Yes. Okay. So I'm gonna thank you so much for your time today,
Thank
and
you. I
you're
look
amazing. It's
forward
so lovely to
to.
see your face again, and I think that
You
you're such
too,
a
lovely.
Oh, you're such a role model, and I honor you, and I applaud you, and I will support you.
Thank
So you
you.
tell me what you need, and I will support you.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yes. Okay.
Thank you, lovely. Mwah. Speak
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.